Welcome back to Pokemon FireRed, everybody. So, I decided to go hunting for the roaming legendary. So the best way to do this, apparently, is to go to Pier City and have a Pokemon at or less than level 49 at the front. Use repels, run around for a short while, then just reset it. Thus far, I spent so much time thus far today trying to do so, and it has not worked out yet. But gosh darn it, I am going to try and get this person, or get this Pokemon to appear. Why'd I call it a person? Either way. Excuse me. I know I said a lot earlier, but I don't want to cut out a bunch of weak Pokemon encounters. I tried doing this with 50 regular repels, and that got old quickly. And I burned through them all. It just dawned on me that I haven't checked my Ultra Ball setup yet for in a while. Oh well, next time I use a max repel, I will go in and check that. Speaking of which, wrong button. That should be plenty. So, in terms of games I've been playing as of late, there's Mina the Hollower, which I've probably brought it up on this channel already. It's not a game, and I've been following along because I enjoy the exploration part of it, despite the fact that even some of the battles against the regular enemies can be complete bullcrap. In other words, kinda hard. I recommend that game if you either don't mind difficult battles or you just love difficult battles, because oh boy, the battles can be rough. I stuck along with it, like I said, because of the exploration aspect, and honestly, I kind of like the story, where it was going. I'm also finding some optional stuff to do in there as well, or at least I think they're optional. That's been fun as well. Let's see, I also brought up Star Fox last episode. I call it a pretty good remaster of 64. I stand by that. However, I've said everything I want to about that game thus far. It's not going to be a game I play for too often for too long, but I will on my own time. Splatoon 3 is always going to be a go-to. I'm not going to watch the Nintendo Direct for Raiders because I want to know as little about the game as possible. I mean, I know there's already going to be new hairstyles, the Salmonids will be involved somehow, and Deep Cut is involved. That's it. That's all I know. That's all I want to know. I'm trying to avoid spoilers to the maximum extent possible for that game. I also picked up, I downloaded Street Fighter 6 on the Switch 2 because I saw another Twitch streamer playing it, and I decided to look up the character roster. There's one character that I liked for multiple reasons, and I wanted to try playing as them. Turns out they're hard to play as. And it turns out I have difficulties getting the combos down. Lovely. But I am chipping away in story mode in that game. So that's going to help out, I hope. And this roaming legendary does not want to pop up, does he? Or does she? Or do they? I think they're genderless. I actually don't know. Maybe they are. Maybe they're not. Who knows? I don't. If there's some hardcore Pokemon fan watching this, yeah, you're probably getting picked off at me about that. Or not. I don't know. This is getting ridiculous already. And yes, I'm going to be the kind of person who's going to keep the entire thing in the video, unless A, even I get bored of it, or B, literally nothing happens for the entirety of what would be an episode, and I decide to just scrap it anyways and describe what happened the next time I try and record, much like I did at the beginning of this episode. Let's be honest, even on episodes where I made no real progress, at least I made some sort of progress in the form of battling trainers. That's kind of unique in its own way, you know? So I would say I'm going to keep this in because if I sit through this, so do you. But knowing my future self, I'm probably going to put up a timestamp as to when the roaming legendary finally appears. Is Kazuya friend? Yes, to level 36. I don't have to do anything else to trigger this, do I? Let's see. I'm looking something up right now as well. I'm still looking at this. It doesn't look like there's anything I'm missing. Yeah, it's dependent on the starter Pokemon I chose, in terms of which legendary I'm going to encounter. I'm not seeing anything else I need to do, just keep doing this for a while. Yeah, it's kind of hard to look up these things while actively moving around. I am using a strictly pro controller, so theoretically I can utilize the programmable buttons to help out with this. But I don't want to do that with this game. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing this. There's two more things I want to do with this game. One is the nonsense I'm trying to do right now, which is catching the roaming Pokemon. And two is going to Cerulean Cave, get to the end of that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now looking at the page I'm looking at right now, they're gonna be level 50. So theoretically, with Kazooie up front, they should be appearing soon. This is kind of ridiculous. But the guide I'm looking at for this one, I was looking at a different guide earlier. Looking on Bulbapedia for this one. So it looks like in the Nintendo Switch re-release for this game, it looks like the bug that causes the roaming legendary to permanently disappear has been fixed. My previous guide I was looking at said the same thing, but it never hurts to double check with different sources, you know. That's nice, honestly. So I have a plan though. What my plan is upon encountering this roaming legendary, I'm going to switch to Doug Tree or Mrs. Rossetti, Doug Trio. Mud slap a few times, and just start chucking Ultra Balls. And the one Nest Ball I've got. Because I might as well. I'm not going to be able to inflict a status condition to them. Because they have Roar. Well, that kind of spoiler. Dang it! That kind of spoils which Pokemon I'm going to encounter. Okay, honestly, if you're watching this, you probably already know. You probably already know which Pokemon I'm going to be encountering. But holy crap, this is taking a while. If I didn't have to move around like this, I could probably be trying to play a second game in the middle of playing this game. Kind of like what I have in the habit of doing when I live stream. If you don't know what I'm talking about for that, whenever I'm playing, or whenever I'm live on Twitch, chances are I'm playing Splatoon 3. Or some other game where I'm gonna have long waiting times for one reason or another. So what I typically do is I'll have RetroArch open, and I'll do a bit of a pointless grind. But the pointless grind I'm in the middle of right now is I'm trying to defeat all the... I'm just gonna say what the game calls it. I'm trying to defeat all the black enemies, variants of Sword of Mana. That's what the game calls it. I promise you can look this one up. But in Sword of Mana for the Game Boy Advance, when you defeat an enemy 1,000 times, its normal overworld sprite will be replaced with what the game calls the black variant, which is a super dark, single shade version of the enemy you defeated 1,000 times. They have their stats increased by 100 points, and their health increased by 500. You gain a lot more experience from defeating those variants. So naturally, in Retro Achievements, there's a subset for Sword of Mana in which you defeat one of each of those variants. And there's over 100 different normal enemies in the game. So So my pointless grind while waiting for anything to happen is to grind that out. Doesn't that sound fun? I'm a little bit past the 10% mark. Oops. But when I say every enemy has a black variant, I mean every common enemy, even the rare enemies. Even the golems that only appear at certain times of the day on certain days. Based on the in-game date. So getting them to even appear is going to be a pain in the butt. I'm gonna have to get to the point to where I actually upgrade my character's equipment. That might also help. Well, this is taking a while. I thought I heard something there. So, do you want to appear or no? Well, I already know the answer. The answer is no. If there are two routes much closer to each other that would allow this to go a lot faster, I'd probably be there instead. But the guide I was looking at said running around in this patch for 15 to 20 seconds and coming back up to your city to reset. Oh, here it is! Here it is! Or here they are. Hi, Raiko! You're looking majestic today. Son of a bitch. So with that, I think they're now up here. They are. Next to that, okay. So we can see where they're actively at. So Mrs. Rossetti has, Arena Trap. But that doesn't trigger until, but that isn't going to trigger if I switch out Mrs. Rossetti. Or I switch in Mrs. Rossetti, I'm sorry. Well, I can do this, but this takes way too long. Actually, let me look at something here. Dang it. No, that's the opposite of what I want. I don't think this counts as a trapping move. Let me take a look. No, taunt is not a, not that. No, not Rock Tomb. It ain't Torment, I can tell you that much. Oh! I don't have a trapping move. Or... okay, let me see if I have a Pokemon here that can help me out. Let's see. It's had to be level 48. Learn mean look. Okay. Okay, so I took a look at what Pokemon I've got in my box. I am going to put a hold on the quest to catch Raikou for the time being. Because the only Pokemon that I have that could learn mean look is Ghastly, and I'm going to be putting off evolving them for a while. So I have a better idea. What I am going to do is I'm going to prepare for an ill-advised trip into Cerulean Cave. There's just two slight issues. One, I need Surf. But I don't need Kazooie for this. Two, in order to best train up Ghastly, I've got the experience share. Meaning I'm going to have to store one of these folks. Mrs. Rossetti, I am sorry. So, I'm going to withdraw Fuzzy. Wrong one. And two, I'm going to withdraw Arctic Surf. Three, where's my experience share? So, good old Fuzzy's got the experience share. So while the four members of my dream team are going to be, getting plenty of levels in Cerulean Cave here, that's now unblocked. It's been unblocked since we became champion, I believe. That's where we're going. At the start of the next episode. Because, I'll be honest, I don't want to start that right now. I was starting to get a bit worried there. And I'm gonna have dollar coin up front so I can use Payday. I'm 99.999, repeating of course, percent certain that there are no trainers in Cerulean Cave. But it's worth going in there anyways. Nope, no point in surfing this way anymore. Level 5 Tentacool. Excuse me. Have some money. Yeah, I've been yapping for a while. I'm not entirely used to it. Like, Cerulean Cave? I was a bit worried at first that it would be dark in here. Let's try and get into a battle real quick, just to see what it's going to be like. There's a Magneton. I think against Magneton, I'm probably going to not fight very often for that reason. And that's... because let's be honest, even if I had Mrs. Rossetti, I'm assuming Magneton's got Levitate. Sweet. Yeah, I know I've got a full restore on my bag here somewhere. Can I just use a full heal? Yeah, I'll just use my last full heal. Think of that as an apology to that pineapple. So yeah, next time we'll be going through Cerulean Cave. My name is Mark6, and I thank you for your time and patience.